it's kind of a monumentous day because I have signed the record of decision for our travel plan on the Bitterroot National Forest, which covers the entire forest for summer and winter motorized use.
Now, tell me what exactly that means to the average consumer of the forest.
Okay, so for average folks, I mean, a lot of people like to use ATVs and mountain bikes and motorcycles, and there are some changes to the designated routes for those vehicles, so they need to pick up a free map at one of our offices, and we'll show all the motorized opportunities on the forest.
But they are still going to be allowed in some places, right?
Absolutely. We have 2,246 miles of forest roads and trails, which would be similar to driving from Hamilton, Montana to New York City.
Wow, that's quite a bit. Okay, how about some other things that people need to know about?
That the largest change to travel on the National Forest does not involve major routes, or people who use full-size vehicles likely will not notice a change because all those routes are open. The major changes are to roads and trails that were in the wilderness study areas and recommended wilderness areas on the forest. So that's where largely the changes occurred, which in the wilderness study areas we will not allow any motorized use summer or winter, and the recommended wilderness areas the same.
Sure. Now, what about folks who work up in the forest, like things like loggers, timber for special timber sales, things like that?
There will be no impact to operators in the forest or to people who have special use permits for waterways, grazing. There will be no impact to those folks.
Tell me about the process it took to get this passed.
Okay, so the Bitterroot travel plan, the prior one was signed in 1976, and so that's been like 40 years. In 2005, a travel management rule came out for all of the National Forest System, and we were all required to update our travel plans. And so the Bitterroot engaged in that in 2007, and right off the bat, we received 13,400 comments on our proposal, and we had several open houses and a lot of opportunities for folks to see what that might look like. So we started crafting, I guess, an FEIS and a draft, which we released in 2009. And we got a lot of changes from that. There were a lot more comment during the draft and engagement on alternatives and specific areas. So, plus a lot of court decisions that had kind of come online that we had to deal with. So it actually took us from 2009 until last year to release a draft decision. And then we had objections to that decision that we have been dealing with for about a year.
And so now you finally got it all worked out and you signed it today.
I did.
How does that make you feel, Julie?
Well, it's kind of a mixed feeling of, being really glad and really proud to put this decision out because I think it's really well thought out. It's been really responsive to public comment and to uses that folks want to do on the forest and into the future. But I know it's going to be a change for folks, so I want to make sure that we get information to people and they understand they can certainly call and ask questions. We have information on our website, and we're going to be largely into a education and information mode for the next while as we start implementing this plan and getting signage on the ground so that we can all be successful.